Hey everyone, this is Miss Wilkins. I'm back here on Orchestra Tube and Orchestra on the Go to tell you about a really tension-free way of making a bow hold for students. This little thought or pearl gem comes from Robert Gillespie's teaching. So for teachers, you can look up his book, Strategy for Teaching Strings, and see his video when he does this. But what he talks about here is having students just flop their hand down on the bow. Just flop it down, okay? And just feeling that weight while they're holding it in their other hand of relaxing their fingers onto the bow. And then the main thing is to make the bow hold after you do the flop. But you can do a lot of different places. I talk about hanging from monkey bars. You can feel that in your hand. And then all you need to do is add the pinky onto the stick. And if you have an octagonal bow stick, those are the best, because then you can find a plane for your pinky to sit on right there. Okay, from the flop, pinky goes on, and then we add the thumb. And depending on where you've started, if you're doing a beginning student, it's really nice to start them here, just to feel that openness in the hand right there. But for the professional bow hold, we want to come in at an angle, sort of in and up. And we're on the corner side of the thumb, which is really important. A lot of times kids have it, in certain different ways. For the violin, I have it right on that inside corner of my thumb, and sometimes I'll put a mark right there with a marker and show them that, or even mark on the finger pad, showing them that there. And then my finger is right in front of the frog, and it's going up and into the frog at an angle, okay? And that's the bow hold. So from the flop, we add the other two fingers, and then turn it over. Then another interesting thing to have kids do is I call this roly-poly, where they're rolling the bow and touching this thumb. And if the bow hair touches their thumb right there, then we know that we've got a nice bent thumb. Okay, I'm going to do this with a viola bow. Now you're probably saying, well, what's the difference, Ms. Wilkins? Well, viola bows are actually different than violin bows. They're heavier. So if you ever try a viola bow and a violin bow, you will notice that the weight is very different for a viola bow. So it really does matter, because the viola strings are thicker, and so the bow is weighted differently. So again, with the viola bow, I have it a little bit deeper in my hand. And again, as you go into the bigger, at each successive instrument, you go a little bit deeper into your hand. Just have it a little bit more wrapped around when I do the bow hand flop, and then come in at an angle and add my pinky. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you on the violin bow hold, or it doesn't really matter now that I'm talking about viola for this particular idea, is the rotation of your hand. Sometimes I've seen educators talk about having this pronation. I like to start in a neutral position, because I want students to understand that we are always in motion. We're not playing this way all the time, and we're not playing this way, or we're not in the middle all the time. We want them to understand that as we move through the stick, our hand can pronate and do different things to pull different types of sound out of the bow hold. So the idea is to have everything in motion and loose, and that we can move through any tension that we need and to reapply it in other areas. Okay, so that's the flop hand for bow holds for violin viola. I'm going to do one for cello and bass coming up, but I'll see you in the next videos. Take care.